Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to Sapphire Send 2023. For those of you who haven't had the chance to meet yet, I'm Karan Singh, partner at Sapphire Ventures. I lead our revenue excellence function. Throughout the day, you'll have myself, as well as various other members of the Sapphire team, up on stage with the speakers, ushering us through the day's events. Having said that, I feel very honored and privileged to be the one that gets to kick off the day with all of you and set the stage for this incredible group of go-to-market leaders and company builders. Before we get into it, I did want to take a moment and just share some gratitude to all of you. Really, Ascend Summit for us is the culmination of the work that we've done with all of you to build this go-to-market community over the last few years. We couldn't do this without you. We're incredibly grateful all of you have joined us, and we're looking forward to hosting you for the rest of the day. We have a packed agenda. We have some incredible speakers, some fantastic networking opportunities. But before we get into it, I did want to take a moment and share some thoughts. Not only about the summit itself, certainly I'll go into that, but moreover, some of the learnings, the trends, the observations that we've heard from all of you over the last year plus around go-to-market. Ultimately, what you've shared with us has helped shape and inform the day today, but moreover, really it's sharpened our perspective on the opportunity ahead. So let's get into it. Let's start with the summit. Ascend Summit, this is an event that we've envisioned really a year plus, 2 years in the making. For those of you who are familiar with Sapphire Ventures, frankly, many in the room are, we've long understood the importance of a high-functioning, repeatable, scalable go-to-market engine and how that impacts the aspirations of our companies of consequence. Having said that, building this engine is exceptionally hard, right? Many use the term, it's like flying a plane while building it. It very much feels that way, and honestly, it hasn't gotten any easier in the last year plus. So as we reflected on this and we reflected on the journey that really many of our portfolio companies have gone through, it became even more important to us than ever before that we offer this forum for today, that we give you all a chance to come together, to network, to learn, to engage with one another. As I look across the room, it's abundantly clear to me this is just as important to all of you as it is to us. And certainly I'm compelled by the number of individuals that joined us. We had well over 200 registrants, maybe 120 plus unique companies joining us. And really we had a large wait list as well because this is an invite-only event. What's more compelling to me is the quality and caliber of folks that we have in the room. More than 50% of you here are go-to-market leaders or company leaders for either B2B unicorns or public companies. Take a look around. We have some of the best and brightest in the room here today. And this is something I'm hopeful we all take advantage of. Really, that's our aspiration for this event, is that you walk out of here feeling really a little bit more connected with your go-to-market community, that you have a chance to listen, learn, and engage, not just with the speakers on stage today, but really the peers around you, and learn how others have gone through their scale journey, and perhaps be able to take a nugget of wisdom, a best practice, a tactic back home with you that you can apply to your own organization. We know how hard it is, by the way, to make space for a day like this. You all have your day jobs to take a whole day with us. I mean, we're incredibly grateful once again. And we do. We intend on making this a fantastic summit for all of you. With that, I want to take a moment. Let me shift gears. I alluded to this a little bit earlier. I want to spend some time sharing what we've been able to delve in, the insights we've been able to delve in with all of you around go-to-market. At Sapphire, the portfolio growth team in particular, which I'm a part of, we have an interesting vantage point, a unique vantage point, in that really we get to engage with 80 plus portfolio companies on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. They're at various phases and stages of growth too, so we get to see some pattern recognition about what growth looks like. Above and beyond that, really a lot of you folks in the room are part of our broader go-to-market community as well, and we get to engage with all of you too. In fact, many of you probably spent time with us in the past in roundtables and workshops and networking events. It's all in an earnest attempt to bring us all together and, again, engage with one another. With that, I want to be able to share with all of you what we've gleaned from all of you around go-to-market, what we see as the opportunity ahead, and really how all of you are addressing it, and see if we can parse out, and we intend to today, some of the commonalities of great go-to-market organizations. Here's what you've all shared with us. Let's start with the opportunity at hand. Our highest level observation is that the state of go-to-market efficiency has changed over the last really 2 years plus. And moreover, as is the level of scrutiny and attention put on efficient growth. To put it in perspective, you can see this very easily through the lens of net magic number. Net magic number, for many of you, this is a very all-encompassing efficiency metric that many organizations orient around, typically defined as net NAR divided by total sales and marketing spend. If you look at this, just to put it in perspective, late 2021, on average, public companies, public SaaS companies had somewhere in the realm of 0.7 to 0.9x as a net magic number, reasonably healthy. Now, that number's closer to 0.3 to 0.4x. In other words, we're seeing companies spend almost $3 to $4 to generate a dollar's worth of revenue in sales and marketing. This is a significant shift, and while really there's a myriad of reasons as to why that's the case, I think we all feel it viscerally, both the macro as well as the micro. Here's the one thing we know for sure. We know that intentional growing, efficient growth companies are rewarded far more than those that are not. In fact, we had the chance to speak with our friends at Alexander Group, who are, by the way, sponsors for today's event, great partners for us, great thought leaders and experts on the same topic, and they've shared some interesting stats with us on the same. Efficient growth companies, on average, have almost 30% higher valuations and forward-looking multiples than those that do not. It's not just a valuations thing, by the way. They're better growers as well. Efficient growth companies typically grow almost 16 points better year over year than those that are non-efficient. Listen, I bring all this up to set the stage for today and really to articulate, I think we have a sense of the opportunity at hand. This is the hallmark of great companies looking ahead, efficiency and intentionality within go-to-market. And arguably, that is the opportunity for a lot of the go-to-market leaders in the room. How do we address this challenge? Now, speaking of how we do so, well, really, it can be done in a myriad of different ways. And honestly, that's what we've heard from the portfolio. You know, I've been privileged. I get to engage with all of you on a pretty consistent basis, and I speak with a variety of different CROs, go-to-market leaders. And what I'm encouraged by seeing really throughout the course of the last year is that a lot of our go-to-market teams are stepping up to the plate and addressing this opportunity. And again, while there's not one single thing that I think is the silver bullet for addressing efficiency and intentionality, we have seen some common themes, commonalities of great go-to-market organizations through our learnings from all of you. And really, I'd love to share some of those with you today to set the stage. I think it'll help architect the rest of the day for us as well. Here's what you've shared. Let's start with this. We are now starting to see a change, more so than ever before, as to how companies are building and rebuilding their go-to-market organizations. Arguably, the macro challenges, the headwinds that we've seen in the last year plus, in some way, shape, or form have served as a almost necessary inflection point for many go-to-market leaders to reevaluate the composition of your go-to-market organization. We're seeing a world once again, and by the way, I think this is the right thing, we're seeing a world once again where the account executives is back at the center of the go-to-market equation. So not necessarily just a cog in the wheel along with all the other resources we've implemented, but rather the true quarterback, the individual that's responsible for making sure all the additional supporting and coverage resources, frankly, that all of you have invested in, are being used as effectively and as efficiently as possible. Unsurprisingly, this does lead to an inherent gain in revenue efficiency. We are, in fact, able to do more with less, with great coordination, great quarterbacking. And we are seeing some organizations within our portfolio doing exactly that. Today, we'll have a session on the very same topic. We're going to bring some go-to-market leaders up on stage. They're going to talk to us a little bit about the concept of efficient growth versus growth at all costs. And by the way, both are relevant, but how do you navigate from one to the other? When should you do one or the other? And ultimately, how does that impact the way you shape your go-to-market organization? It's going to be a fascinating session. I'm really excited to hear what they all say. I've done a little bit of prep work with them, and some really good nuggets already came out. Beyond that, again, unsurprisingly, we are seeing companies double down on the customer and the customer's journey. In fact, we at Sapphire, we've had the chance to engage with many of you on the very same topic. We've been able to work with some of our portfolio companies and help map your customer journey, and more importantly, the objective of the customer by phase and stage of this journey. The reason this is important is because it very quickly parses out exactly how you can define your internal processes, your technology investments, how you resource your organization, and generally how you set the expectations for your go-to-market teams. In other words, companies that understand how their customers want to be sold to versus how they want to sell to a customer have made a material shift in their revenue productivity as well. This is a topic, by the way, I'm very passionate about, and in fact, we do have later today, right after actually these opening remarks, we have Sangeetha, CRO at Miro, joining us today, and she will share certainly her journey at Miro, Checker, Okta, and past lives, and how she's been able to scale those companies. And I recall when we were doing some prep sessions together, we talked about the importance of customer centricity, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your thoughts on the very same. Beyond that, listen, we've also observed, beyond the tactical stuff, we've also observed that building this culture of care and a culture of accountability is one of the most meaningful things go-to-market teams can do, not only to generate success, but to be able to maintain success. And listen, this is a complex topic, right? Culture can be this ephemeral thing, and in many cases, a culture of care can be misconstrued. It can be misconstrued as Fridays off and unlimited vacations. When we've engaged with all of you on this very same topic, it's abundantly clear to us and almost obvious that it, of course, is bigger, bolder, and greater than that. And of course, there's no one silver bullet answer as to what makes a winning culture, but what we are parsing out is that there are some common themes. Things like having a connected mission that has guiding principles supporting it so your entire organizations can have autonomous decisions that are still connected. To be able to make space for learning and development for your team members. Not just offer them the resources, but again, make the space for it as well. And then ultimately offering clear roles and responsibilities, accountability and expectations for your team. So really, the go-to-market organization can row together, that the company can row together at the same objectives. Once again, this is a little bit of a complex topic, but we have some great leaders that we'll be bringing up on stage to speak to the very same thing. Individuals that have built large teams, both public and private, and really how did they implement winning cultures for their go-to-market teams? What principles did they use? What tactics did they use? In fact, when we were talking and prepping for that session, we made it a point to say, let's go very specific. Let's not talk about it with motherhood and apple pie. Let's get very specific about the tactics and strategies used to build winning cultures. For me, this is one of the most important things, right? It envelops everything else that we do, and certainly something we wanted to double down on as well. And finally, it wouldn't be a summit in 2023 if we didn't talk about generative AI. Generative AI has, of course, captured the hearts and minds of the broader world, and in particular, we are seeing a proliferation of Gen AI tools in go-to-market. There's a slew of use cases available to us in this very same. And while the technology is innovating very quickly, as we've engaged with many of you, again, in roundtables and networking sessions, individuals, go-to-market leaders that are associated with Gen AI tools or are leveraging Gen AI tools, you're all telling me the same thing, which is that, yes, the technology and the innovation is part of the experience and the outcome, but how we train, equip, and enable our teams to be able to leverage it effectively is arguably just as important. If anything, I remember speaking with a CRO in our network, and he shared with me not long ago, hey, I'm having my SDR organization leverage ChatGPT and Gen AI to drive messaging. So that's a great idea. And then he came back later and told me, like, look, we didn't actually get great outcomes from it. Why? Because we told all of our SDRs to use the exact same prompt to generate that messaging. Big surprise, all the messaging was very homogeneous, not that unique, not that personalized. Really, it's an illustration of the opportunity ahead. It's not just about the tooling, although we're seeing great innovation there. How do we catch our teams up to the same? This is an area we want to go deeper on as well, and so we reached out within our portfolio and we found some great generative AI leaders. We have Bhavin Shah, CEO at MoveWorks, joining us today, a generative AI company within our portfolio. He has a fantastic perspective on this topic, and I suspect he will share with us where he sees the trends around generative AI going, and perhaps go a little bit deeper on what the implications are for go-to-market teams as a result. There we go. All that to say, look, some of the trends that I shared with you today, this is just illustrative of what you've all shared with us. These are the things you're focused on. These are the things you want to learn more about and double down on. And ultimately, that's how we've shaped the summit. The intention of this summit is for us to go deeper on the very same topics that are most relevant and pertinent to all of you. I shared a few of them. When you see the agenda later, you'll see we have a handful more above and beyond that as well. But again, the intention is, let's get very specific. Let's get very actionable about the learnings today. And hopefully, you can marry some of those learnings with your own perspective and be able to take it home and perhaps, again, get a little bit more intelligent about all things go-to-market. So with that, I do want to leave you with one more thing before I hop off stage today and we start the festivities. And it's a little bit above and beyond Ascend Summit itself. As we alluded to earlier, Sapphire Ventures, we're very much motivated, committed, and invested in supporting our go-to-market community. And in that spirit, we are also releasing a handful of net new initiatives after Ascend Summit today that we're hopeful will be hugely beneficial to you, that will continue to support you on your own journey. Allow me a moment to share some of those with you. By the way, I'm excited about both of these. So to start, the Sapphire and KeyBank SaaS survey. At the end of this month, we will be releasing a SaaS survey in partnership with our friends at KeyBank Capital Markets. By the way, they're sponsors for today, and moreover, they've been fantastic partners throughout the year for us and have been giving us some great perspective. This survey, for context, for perspective, has over 100 different respondents that we've been able to survey, and it showcases both company level as well as go-to-market specific KPIs that ultimately can help you benchmark your own organization against your peer group. Knowing how your broader community is faring, how they're trending with respect to these KPIs, ultimately should help inform your own evolution, your own organization's evolution. I'm hopeful you can take this asset, download it, keep it in your back pocket, and leverage it when and where appropriate. Beyond that, we're also launching Sapphire RevX Hub post-Ascend Summit. And to kind of put it in perspective with you, this is a digital portal that we have partnered with our friends at Winning by Design on. And the essence of it is this. It is a one-stop digital portal for our portfolio of companies where you'll be able to do a few different things. You'll be able to access research, frameworks, blueprints, downloadable assets that hopefully accelerate some of the initiatives that you're already executing on. Beyond that, you'll be able to benchmark against others, not just in the Sapphire portfolio, but there's a broader constituency, a broader sample set within the benchmarking tool itself. And then finally, we did work with Winning by Design, and we found a handful of executive level trainings that we're also going to be offering to all of you to be able to continue to up-level your own personal development and that of your leadership teams as well. With that, look, these two are just two of the many initiatives that we've gone through within Sapphire to make sure we continue to lock arms with our go-to-market community, that we continue to offer you support and counsel and perspective along the way. And we're excited that we get to continue to do this. I'm thrilled to dive into our inaugural summit, Ascend Summit. Here's a quick snapshot of the agenda for today. Man, every time I look at this, I'm compelled by the presenters that will be coming on stage, the topics that we're going to be covering, and I'm incredibly excited that we get to host all of you on this today. With that, thank you all, and I'm excited for a fantastic day ahead.